Made his own way. He apparently makes it tough. Because he chose to have metal parts.
All right, so it's set to go. Kenny Bayless is the referee. Third man of the ring, Nevada Boxing Hall of Famer. And troopers Michael Burnick and Craig Metcalf.
Bradley Wilson at 175 pounds, so he's been actually terrified. But Pacquiao, with his quickness, seems to be much more powerful with his punches. That's heavy, Larry. Come all the way down to welterweight. Wow.
And he is in magnificent physical condition. As you can tell by the body as both men are, as you would expect these consummate professionals to be. Six-time world champion Manny Pacquiao finally
Right hand.
and Bradley right back with a body shot.
Manny already letting some big punches go. Bradley is camouflage and green glove, ready for war.
A posturing here in the early going. Bradley quick with that uppercut to block mostly the glove by Manny Pacquiao. Forward with a left hand. Manny tries to get his jab through there, but he says
Bradley returned to his natural style after providing power and beating Moscow. And his natural style is this. Quick movement, a kind of dynamic body language, which is very one would think Bradley would take a page out of the Marquez book and be a strict counterpuncher since doing that great development. He's a physical guy. Bradley can do that with everything.
he can, but that isn't his mindset to this thing. He really wants to try and score a knockout, make it definitive. And in this round, I mean, we're coming up to the closing minute of the first round. Who's won this round? And there's going to be a lot of these, and it only makes one difference, one round difference, and you got a situation, and that's the way I expect this to be. This is going to be controversial. Not a lot separating him. Every time Pacquiao even taps Tim Bradley, the crowd gets into it. So don't be fooled by that.
The judges aren't human, so that has to play into some.
And it does. It's a subliminal thing the judges have to deal with. I don't think it's the first thing that proves the first fight. You get this right. Right here's Bradley.
That's Manny.
Oh, all right. A shot. Are you telling me you're that? I can't tell you.
When I can't decide if somebody has won the round or either guy has lost the round, to me it's a 10-10 round, but I'm sure, but that could be a microcosm of the night.
I scored a 10-10 because I can't figure out who won it. And usually that'll be split by the judges. So we got to remember these rounds that are this close.
Gentlemen, I'm going to get actually to Bradley on the fact that I think he landed a couple of cleaner shots.
And I would argue with that because he did land a couple of shots.
You know, one of the things he learned from Freddie Rowe is to use his right hand. He didn't have a real professional right hand. He was so good that he could win a fight one-handed. He's so strong. And so, just mentioning that now because I just wonder, if Bradley might have the left hand figured out, but maybe the right hand that does some damage.
I we go to round number 2.
But Bradley's punching with bad intentions here.
Yes, he is, and that's what he said he would do. Try to mix it up with this guy. Something will probably be a mistake. Nice defense. That was an off-balance sort of situation for Timothy Bradley. I don't know if you guys have seen it. I see what appears to be more intensity of Tim and Tim just slipped in that Takagi side.
I agree with you, Colonel. He does come out. He has come out more intense, and I haven't seen him throw such hard shots before, at least initially in fights before.
Well, this needs to be brought up sometime. We all learned after that fight that he was put outside. Because he thought it would help him because that's how Mike Tyson fought. He thought he needed something extra to fight Manny Pacquiao. And he himself had said, well, he had never been in a big fight before, and that was a mistake he made. He showed up with 2 bad feet, legs, how to be wheeled out to the press conference. But he's been through it now.
Well, I don't know if that was so much the case of the socks. Big shot landed by Pacquiao, or the fact that Pacquiao's footwork keeps you back on a just like that. Which I think was more the reality of it. Big leaky right hand that Bradley just landed on Pacquiao, too. Big round for Pacquiao so far.
Tim Hennig is on the inside now. Jenny Dennis has to separate the two. Crowd doesn't like anytime Dennis does anything. They don't want him in a fight here. Bradley clips it with the left hand, hands it with the right hand.
Well, Bradley is doing his fight against the Bradley Cross right here.
And this is not over well for Bradley theoretically. But he's having some success as well.
You're looking for the Marquez Bradley, and the Veronica Bradley shows up.
And thank God.
He certainly is going to make for a more thrilling adventure. We'll see how the fight goes.
Well, it's an adventure so far. I mean, that's for sure. I can't like Trump's way to shoot with thank you.
And Bradley continues to fight like this, not only a win for treat, but this fight, either way, could end in very much a knockout, which I would not think was possible tonight.
In the closing seconds, are those 2 big punches that Pacquiao landed going to be enough to win this round for him? And I think it's
And I thought he landed a lot more than just 2.
even first 2 rounds. We think that probably Pacquiao gets the second round of the judges' score sheet. This is round 3. Same with the jabs. Danny making a miss. With a decent right hand. There's a lot of advertising on the canvas, and this fight of the night, the last fight of the night, it gets wet. And it's a little slippery out there in some spots.
Well, we had some ice previously in that down there, and I don't know if they got away with that, but then when they should have melted, and there's been a lot of sweat there throughout the night.
Well, it doesn't look like there's a lot of contraction in Manny Pacquiao here tonight.
Those big left hands,
His hair looks like it's under.
Well, it's like the 3-4
really big left hands.
It's a nice shot for Manny Pacquiao.
And there goes the footwork that caused aggravated those foot problems earlier for Bradley.
Manny just dominated that last about 30-40 seconds. Probably tries to hang on and find it. Just has to wing some shots. Manny hangs on him. Manny Dennis does his job. Winging shot again back there. Misses again. Meantime, Pacquiao locked him with a body shot.
Bradley's coming back smartly here. There's a right hand for the
Also taking a 6.
Yeah, he's throwing caution to win, but sure, he's wanting to risk it all.
Then a couple big shots on Danny, but Danny still landing a couple back on his own.
Talk about intensity. How about this?
This is a fight, gentlemen. That's the old Hall of Fame.
Crowd in attendance absolutely loved it wherever you walked around the world. I know you're going to love it.
Bradley said he'd be going for a knockout. Nobody believed him because of his knockout record, which is relatively low. But he's going to do damage.
Body shot, uppercut. And he got it right down. And all that, and he lands one shot. He's missing it after a move. Bradley moving out to the top of full defense.
Over the body, Manny.
Pacquiao having a terrific round for him.
Last 2 rounds have been solid, but Pacquiao landing big shots on Bradley. Bradley's had a couple solid body shots on his own. He continues to work the body, which is a great game plan.
Nice last few seconds between the MGM Grand Garden Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada. Manny Pacquiao on the white. Jim Bradley, the camouflage trunks, and then picks it up right away.
Is Bradley taking the fact that Manny can't go 12 hard and that he can because he just keeps coming forward.
Well, Larry, like we mentioned earlier, he feels like he's got something to prove, even though really he doesn't, based on the Pacific and Marquez fights.
Well, there are some fighters who always think every time they have something to prove. Marvin Hagler was that way.
And that would be a great
That, they had to earn their popularity over a long haul, and you just had to go out there and do it every time.
and that chip on their shoulder, like, keeps them on, and that was a good loopy right hand. That Pacquiao just took, and he took it well. Walking out, backing up, head straight up. How he got Robert Marquez when he was first knocked down in their last fight.
Round 4 with Timothy Bradley trying to pick up the pace here. This is much more even than the last round was. And trying to keep pressure on Pacquiao constantly. Pacquiao waits, gets off that left-hand lead by him to southpaw. Punches up, trying to slow down just a bit for the moment. More than halfway through this, the 4th round. And still very much up the ground. Holding straight right now.
Well, that Pacquiao backing up, and Pacquiao's not used to being the counter puncher, and that's how he got caught with Marquez, and Marquez was aggressive in their last fight, the first one with his head back up.
I don't think he can touch 100% right now.
Yeah, I agree with you. He's backing up with his head straight up, and Bradley can sense it.
And at no time during the Pacquiao assault that Bradley was badly hurt, but I really think that maybe he felt that.
Good body shot by Pacquiao.
Yeah, you wouldn't know by what he's doing right now.
Hello, how you doing?
That one shot by Jim Bradley.
If you can hear
I
me.
think he's won the rest of the round rather clearly, so how do you score it?
I don't know.
Well, we still got 30 seconds left, so let's see.
Some guys say damage done. If that's the case, Tim's done enough. Tim's done enough. That's right. So tough, the judges. Loading up the shots, Tim again. Misses with a left. Catches it with a right.
I mean, hurt Manny once, why wouldn't he do it again?
I think he thinks he can. In the closing seconds, who wants it now? See if anybody can get a final assault going here. To make it definitive, Tim tries it.
Let's not, but you've got to shake it to win it.
And the Galaxy plays back. That's what's up. On February 27th.
For a very long time, Finley. Where is my daughter?
Get tickets now.
We're going to the 5th round here.
Manny's to never get caught with those overhand rights, backing out with his head straight up. I don't know if that's the way
It's a sign of age because guys that don't get hit early. One great fight in the 90s, Muhammad Ali, in his early career, he never got hit. And later in his career, he got hit a lot.
So like a Roy Jones guys who reflex is, of course.
People thought that was more impressive than it was. Some nice low defense out of Cornell Whitaker style on that one. The short strength in his hand. Tries to put the man made him the club up there, but hurried off close to that. Pacquiao seems to have more intensity in this round now. Still hunting down, Manny up on his toes, bouncing around, gets off the straight left hand. Mike let Dick upstairs, went down his gun that whatsoever. All right, there it is. Manny will finish this up. We see some passion there. Did you tap him on the shoulder, Larry?
No, I just think that was sportsmanship on both their parts.
And a nice chance to get a little breather quickly.
Yeah. It looks like Randy was trying to take a little breather in here and just boxing now this round.
Well, they can't go all out of his own defense.
Randy can sort of just as I said it.
Jim landed a right hand shot that didn't seemingly take any effect on the solid right hand. Oh, 50 seconds left in this round. Another one of those situations where it's very close. This is still anybody's round.
And then often see Manny backing up like that.
And he usually doesn't go well for him. Maybe a block shot to take him down. It's really effective in the second round when he can be aggressive and let him finish there.
16, 15, 14 seconds to go in this round. Bradley's trying to make it look bad. That doesn't help you with the judges.
So do I. Good round for peace. And I think more so from a psychological point of view, Bradley feels even tired when it feels like victory. He has the public.
And in the eyes of the public, both guys need a great victory because otherwise, are we going to see a third one?
Well, you know, we're understanding the condition that Marquez was after losing first fight to Manny, and Manny was a close fight to Bradley, and he's trying to even the score or better the score. But
Bring this down a little more.
Bradley's used to the big stage now. He's been champion. It's amazing to me that he's a couple of years. He's right away from it.
Yeah, I've tried to. I was going to draw this yesterday, but everybody else was streaming, so I didn't want to interrupt. It's not really important, but just want to get it done. I'm using this paper because I saw Ethan Van Scriver doing Scriver. He did some markers on one of his drawings, and I didn't realize this paper was good enough for markers. I thought it would bleed and streak and make a mess because I really don't like this paper. It doesn't erase pencils very well. It's good for inks, but not for penciling. I mean, you can draw on it, but try to erase this afterwards and it leaves residue. This is the original sketch. I printed it out and lightboxed this. I got it done on ComicsGate King Draw Along, about 2 hours. It's in one of my videos. I did it on live. I'm not going to follow the shading on this because I want to do colors. I think I'm going to have to ink the background in with real ink because I think I want to do a watercolor for the background. Markers on this, Copic markers and inks, and then wash over it. The watercolors won't make the ink bleed, but it will make the markers bleed. So a lot of the shading I'm going to leave wide open instead of filling them in with black. If my head gets in the way, sorry. It's the way I draw. I usually have my head like a few inches away from the paper. I was watching, what's his name? Scott Williams, the guy that inks Jim Lee a lot, or most. And he was using, he would use his, I guess he was using Copics, maybe not, but he would hold it like a brush. And, not straight down, but he would go across. And then he would flick it the same way he would if he was using a quill nib or a brush. I mean, he's got more control, so he'd be able to stop the lines pretty quickly. He's not going to have the lines going all over the place. But I thought, I think I'm going to give that a shot. It works pretty good. As I'm a flicker, I flick my lines. I don't draw them like I should, but it is what it is. I can't stop it. I just bought these pens. I don't really like, the only time I use pens, markers is if I'm going to use Copics or any kind of marker. Like if I'm drawing something like this, See, it's just pencil. You know, it's a official sketch card. So I'll pencil it. I airbrush this in. All the colors are airbrushed in just to get a nice smooth color. But like this one, it's basically the same thing. Small differences. You see the ships are different. And then this one is ink with real ink, with a crow quill. And you'll see the costumes are different too. She's wearing the silver costume here, and I think she's wearing the purple, pinky, whatever color. You know, everything starts off like this, just pencils. A lot of focus. There you go. And I really do. I like using watercolors and gouache and acrylics for my cards. But sometimes you're in a rush and you just got to use pens and markers.
You might see some welts on the right cheekbone of but nothing to be concerned about, but it shows he has been getting hit.
The card was acrylics. The skin color was acrylics. Airbrushed on. Got my trusty rusty Iwata. Yeah, a lot of guys that do sketch cards have started, like, really picking up their game, doing a lot of airbrushing. I mean, it's not really a lot of work. It's just you have to mask out stuff, and once you mask it out, just really quickly do it and then move on. And then you go in with colored pencils, or you can use acrylic paint with a brush for the detailing. Yeah, when I do sketch cards, now these are my sketch cards. These are what you call artist proofs, because what they're gonna do is, sorry, these little registration marks. That's where they cut the cards. So they cut them down to 2.5 by 3.5. But when we get our proofs, which means it's just a blank that we get, we could do whatever we want as long as we stay within whatever the theme is. I think this is Women of Star Trek. So as long as we stay within the theme, we can pretty much do whatever we want, and then we can sell them, make for whatever we want. Yeah, this is from Rogue One. This was markers over pencils, and then I was gonna go in and add inks later. Yeah, you can sell those things for quite a bit, considering what they are. The size and everything.
move maybe there. Randy wants to land the big ball. He throws the right way.
Runs are winning punches, and
It just strikes me that Manny Pacquiao is fundamentally more sound. He's not trying to win on his athleticism, as Bradley often seems to do. That's why he's called.
and that's how he hurts his feet. Not because of socks or lack thereof, because he's off balance. Pacquiao keeps him moving, and that's how you sprain an ankle or you dislocate feet, whatever the case was. In that particular case, I believe he stepped on his foot.
Pacquiao on the assault as he comes forward. Trying to land shots on Jim. Jim wants it back, and he has to separate them. But it's all Brandy.
You hear a lot of breathing and sighing and all that. I'm just old, so you're gonna hear old man noises. Trying not to talk too loud. And the mic is like right above with the camera. There goes one.
But Tim, even in all of that hurricane that was on top of him, he still went back to waiting one big shot. And he does get him on down. He's back to the step zone as we'll show you when we turn around. They are pointing into the rope.
I feel because Jim had some success earlier around winning the shot. He actually caught him with a big loop.
Yeah, you never sure if people want to watch you draw. I do it anyways, if anybody watches or not. I'm sure I've seen your name a couple of times on when I was drawing in the living room. I have a lap board that I draw on mostly, and I just get a clamp for my iPhone and just dangle it above my little lap board, and it's bouncing around all over the place. But for some reason, it's kind of stabilized. And I don't know how it does it, but it doesn't like jiggle all over the place, which it could.
Sort of feet got a little tangled. I don't know if it was necessarily a step, but feet a little tangled there. Pacquiao comes at you at so many angles.
Because I've been having a real hard time trying to get a clear picture. I have all these lights, these LED lights, and regular, light bulbs. And when I turn them on, it just washes everything out. So here I got a window right next to me, and there's a little bit of light coming through, and that's all I have right now. And it's much clearer. So I wasted all my money on all these lights, unless I'm doing stuff late at night. And then it comes in use. Wasn't that much money. Got a light panel just above my camera. It's $50.
That's what he's wanted to do the whole fight. And if he doesn't do it, he's not going to win the fight.
Now, this is where Pacquiao, in the last fight, a lot of people accused him of fading.
We're watching people draw, and I was noticing that everybody else holds their pens way different than I do. Like I've seen people, they tuck their thumb under, and then they have the pen like right there, something like that. I'm like, I don't know how you draw like that. I don't think I could. I developed this way, 3 fingers on it, so I can literally rotate and move it around like a brush, and it's very stable. And I can draw pretty quick and very fast. I mean, not just fast, but accurately. My lines can be very accurate without worrying about it. Because I think when you put your fingers around like that, you can't see the tip of the pen, so you don't really see what you're drawing. So you tend to go slow. I guess. I don't know.
He's been at this rodeo before.
Oh, that was a beautiful straight left right on the jaw.
Do, do.
Another one.
Pretty soon I expect people to come in here and start telling me what to do. Because when I go on other people's, when I'm in their chat, I'm like telling them what to do. And in an instructional sort of way. But just techniques and you know, just passing along some knowledge.
One of the reasons that Manny has his knockouts in recent fights is that fighters have started to try to looking for that left and daring him to beat up some other ones.
Manny having a lot of success with that left hand tonight.
And whether by design or not, Manny has been closing most of the round.
Just got Manny Pacquiao, Tim Bradley, old fight on. Just for some noise. Because if I play music, they're gonna knock the channel out or the stream off.
I have no straight, so
Sometimes I just want the lines to be actual, very, very crisp and clean. Because all these buildings I'm going to do freehand. There's going to be no rulers or anything. Just scribble it all down. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do it in with these pens.
came to this point of the fight, and he knew he had to do some serious damage or some dramatic damage. He would go for it. Let's see what he does. If he can.
His legs have been real solid to me tonight. I mean, I go back to the Quebec fight. I wonder how much of style that his body took out of me. You can win a fight, and it can take so much out of you. And to me, Finn's legs don't look. I mean, they just don't look really good right now to me.
Well, they look pretty good against Marquez.
Yeah, they did.
Pacquiao now stalking, being a little bit more aggressive. Big left hand, good shots against Bradley. Bradley holding on.
You think it's fair to say that Bradley woke up a sleeping champion when he said he no longer had the hunger and the drive and the fire to win?
Well, he showed me his legs he got tonight.
There's no lack of compassion. Sometimes you have to be careful with your stroke.
Bradley pulling with that jab as he bounced off. That's not his style.
To those people who thought Pacquiao clearly won the first fight, this is the opponent so far.
Much more action back and not as tough to decide as we thought it might be. At least thus far. Bradley completely unadvisable now.
I don't want to put that monkey wrench in it again. I mean, it's club on producing that the network in the United States has Bradley a hefty fight.
make things happen all at once.
But there's many times he's been his top man and he's come in. So I mean, I don't know, Larry. It's tough. I trust that one too. I think that he has a lot of confidence players.
So sure why he has his spots better in this round, but he still hasn't been as effective.
I think the American Network had Gary Willenbow and Luke Crosby the first time. Maybe they're making it up. Instead of, we'll see if the officials feel they have to make it up for that ball. I had Bradley winning that round.
Much Bradley landed this shot.
One more round. Could be exciting. Here's Bradley with a counter right over the top.
Well, for what it's worth, going to the 12th round, I've got it scored 107-103 in favor of Pacquiao. And that's what my eyes tell me.
I've got 8 rounds Pacquiao, 3 rounds left.
That is,
We have the same scorecard there.
All right, here we go, the 12th and final round. Now, both guys said that they thought it was close, but kind of years back and let it all fly. Bradley definitely. Somebody must have told him to be behind. And look at this, both guys are going after it.
Pacquiao's landing is hard left. Start the round.
He wants to make it definitive too.
when Bradley's going to keep showing, you need this round, you need this round. To me, that's suggests an indication that they probably need 3 rounds.
There's been a sense of urgency and worry that Bradley's corner.
In the 12th round, both guys have a sense of urgency. They both want it. Who knows what the way the scoring is if they both need it? We don't think so, but there are some that do. Timothy misses his shot. That wild right hand that he threw all night has missed more than it's landed. Part of the reason for that is that Pacquiao has his timing off. I touched the one with that
Bradley wants to make the last effort, but Pacquiao is waking him, finding the holes when he becomes aggressive and it's just backed off.
Pacquiao has done a wonderful job to the hand transition he got his shot in. Clearly this shot he's landed the harder shots.
They get tied up because he barely says to get separate as quick as he can.
Minutes to go in the final round.
Both guys said they let it go, but they're both very exhausted. But the pace has been pretty heavy throughout the course of this fight. Pretty fast. Bradley looks very exhausted to me.
Bradley, anyway, as he started, winging punches and hoping for the best.
And you're right, Larry, that's been the essence of this fight from Bradley.
They're both fighting with a sense of urgency. Bradley a little bit more intended, but not landing any more shots.
Both of them, neither one of them wants a bad decision.
It's a big cut. The last 30 seconds for Pacquiao.
Time has been called.
Big cut.
And he's got it by the left eye.
Oh, what was filled with intensity in the last 30 seconds. They managed to go the whole fight without a headbutt. And there was a lot of that in the stretch where Tim Bradley was known for getting headbutts.
Oh, the reason being that Bradley's coming forward, Pacquiao's answering him. He looks for Bradley.
Bradley trying to finish him off, but he can't catch him.
Well, I don't know if it's going to change any mind about the first fight. And I thought this was kind of like,
I thought it was a more definitive victory. I agree.
But Michael Buff will make it official.
Gentlemen, here at the MGM ground, we go to the scorecard. Craig Menegoff and Michael Burnick scored 116 to 112. Glenn Govich 118 to 110. All three judges have it for the winner by unanimous decision from Serengani Province, Philippines. WBO champion of the world, Manny.
Pacquiao.
Well, there it is. The judges have agreed with us.
Much wider margin.
Well, two of the judges had a 116, 112, which is basically what I had.
Right.
16 to 13, you know. But,
Involuntary blood.
to me, the shea butter? Of course not. Of course not. I bring it up, not for you. I bring it up because about a month ago, this young lady left a whole thing of shea butter at my house for everybody that's familiar with shea butter. So I've been masturbating with shea butter for like the last 30 days or whatever. And let me tell you something, ladies, my penis is gorgeous right about now. That motherfucker smooth, no blemishes. It really accentuates the vein going down the middle. On fleek is what the young girls call it. I don't know what that means, but it sounds positive. Here, just flick it in your mouth. I don't know. Just flick it in your mouth. I don't know. But not brought it up for a reason. Where do you buy shea butter? Because I got about 2 fingers left and I'm hitting plastic. Ain't man, you know what? You know, when you get to the end, you gotta put it up in the light and turn it a little bit and get up on that one toe. Let me turn this motherfucker. It's a little bit in the corner. I don't know why you do it. No, but seriously, where do I get it from? Huh? Amazon? But I got that question for y'all. Does it say 100%
Yep. I need to get back to doing actual streams where people can ask me questions if they want, instead of my lap streams where I can't talk to anybody.
How many people are blessed in the building? Make some noise if you're blessed. Okay, yeah, I'm blessed, man. I got a television show. Got my own business. Any black business owners or business owners, period, make some noise. That's what's up. I got my own business. I'm actually really excited about it because I'm getting to go public in 2 weeks. So that's dope. You know, they say you got to have several streams of income in order to be a millionaire. So not only do I act, write, do comedy, I'm also in the hair care industry. So, yeah, for sure. Appreciate that. Let me tell you what's going on. This is the new innovative situation I got going on. In 2 weeks, I'm actually going public. In 2 weeks, me, a lot of my homeboys with beards, we're all cutting our beards off and selling them for edges. I'm just saying. I'm just charging $19.99 a whip. I think it's called a whip. You don't want to look like a Seattle Seahawk any longer. I'm gonna be in the front by my signs. Saving Faces is the name of my foundation. I see I lost some of y'all. How about a new joke about religion? Like meeting with a whole lot of people that don't know like invited to some shit like they pick something you don't know to say grace for the entire day. Yeah, say the blessing for the whole food. Am I the only one that go back and say grace again just because God don't fuck that person like that? You know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, I don't know your walk. I don't want that shit on my chapel. So as soon as these
There's a couple of drawings I did for no reason but to draw. Sometimes what I do is I'll draw something and hopefully I can sell it to somebody, like the person that owns the character. If I draw it well enough. This is Billy Tucci's Ron. Excuse me, this is all inked in with ink, pen and ink. It's got a few things I got to finish. They're hard to see, but those are lanterns back here. There's one here, one. Well, you can see the chains. So they're like some of the best paper to draw on is this stuff right here, Kubert School. I like it because it's got like a texture. It's a vellum finish, but it's like when you go across it with a quill nib, it kind of skips a little, so it gives you a nice weird line. You're still here. Everything just went dead. The computer shut down, TV shut and everything. It was weird. I think it wasn't my power went out. I think it was Chrome, the Chrome browser. I think it took everything down. So the computer had to reboot and shut the computer down. It took it down, but it brought it back. And if you're still here, let me bring these back then. Yeah, this was. Oh, hold on here. So I showed this to Billy. I don't know if he wants to use it or not. If not, yeah, doesn't matter. I'm going to draw it and sell it anyway. So. She-Hulk. Let's see if I can get that to focus. There we go. That's Copics and markers. One of my favorite Bristol. I've had this sheet of Bristol for over 30 years. I bought these 30 years ago. Big stack. Cut them down into sheets. And I use them sparingly. And this is the White Queen. This is on a different kind of Bristol, but it's pretty thick. The ink is really shiny, so it's messing with it. As well, markers again. Ink wash, and ink, markers. A little bit of paint, I think. Not sure. I draw a lot, so it just sits there after I finish it. This is something I recently drew. It's Aphrodite 9 from Top Cow. I think it's all in ink. Yeah. Yeah, it's ink. I can feel it. Right. I only drew this like a month ago and I forgot what I did, how I did it. Sad, huh? And here's another turtle, Raphael. This is on the Kubert board. pen and ink. Yeah, pen and ink. Some of these back here are tree buildings are probably Copics or what are these things? Microns. Just those. These are all freehand inks with ink quill nib. A few buildings I want to add in there that I didn't finish. A little satellite dish and little small things around the bottom, you know, just to add some more rooftops. Like Ethan Van Sciver wants me to sell a print. He's got this show where he does. He's gonna be selling prints every week. And he told me if I wanted to do something, I should make something and make a print out of it. But I don't own any of these characters, so it's kind of hard to do something like that. Because there's a certain point where you're not just a fan anymore. Now you're infringing on a business. There's a certain number of prints that you can do that they'll allow, and then after that, you know, if they catch wind of you, they're gonna sue you. Not sue you, but they'll try to tell you to stop first. Then they'll sue you. So, yeah. I don't want to use like any of those guys from ComicsGate. They're characters. I'm thinking about this character. It's John Malin had asked me to draw his character. So when I did it, I actually drew 3 different versions of the same, but with different variations in hair, the costume. The background was all the same, but the face was different, the hair was different, the jewelry, costume, everything was different. So I penciled out different versions. Let's see if I can do the other one. So here was another one. I was going with a different style of drawing itself, completely different style. So this would be more natural. This would be more natural. And then this was going to be more stylized. I was going to go with like a Travis Charest type of hair and face. But he picked a drawing that he liked, and we went with that one. And so these are left up. I'm just going to finish them. I'm making them into the character into Deja Thoris from the Warlord of Mars series. I think she's public domain, so I might be able to make a print out of that. But who knows? We'll see if I can get it done. Still playing with those stupid things. If I do, I will. I do. But I also have to check the only printer I got around here is Staples. I don't know how good they are with prints. I had to look up, how much the tubes would cost to roll them up in. Yeah, not bad. It's like $1 a piece. from Uline. If it's on Uline, I could probably find it on Amazon. Dude. I think this year I might actually push this channel and see if I can get it up to monetization level. Not that I care, but it's nice to have people watch. I don't mind people watching what I draw. Yeah, I'm basically drawing one of my toenails. I put the artwork, tape it down to a piece of illustration board, slightly bigger than, I know it's not important to anybody, but slightly bigger than the paper, because I like to keep the corners, very important to keep the corners crispy. Try to keep this, and the back, you don't want the back and all the schmutz from from the table, like pencil eraser and stuff like that. I like to try to keep these things as clean as possible. When I bought original artwork, comic book artwork, it always was a mess. But I understood because it was production artwork. Artists are just trying to get their stuff done, and then they send it out, and it gets into the hands of people in the office that really don't care. All they're doing is prepping it for print. They're going to scan it and put a big stamp on the back of it and toss it on a big pile. For when it's time to disperse them to the artists and the inkers and whoever else worked on it that gets the art. So I can understand why it looks that way. But we aren't production artists, so there's no reason not to try to keep it as clean as possible. I gotta send this thing out again. Hopefully this time it doesn't take me down again. This stupid Chrome browser really doesn't like this computer. But the other browser doesn't work. I would have to do it otherwise through StreamYards. And I really don't like StreamYards. It minimizes everything, kind of makes everything look small. Wow, Mexico's burning, huh? Okay. I gotta say, I kind of like the way it's easy to ink on this paper. Very smart man once said about drawing something. If it has to be straight, use a ruler. If it has to be round, use a round template. Don't just freehand it. Especially if you're doing like machinery or inanimate objects. Because the minute it's not round, it doesn't look right. You know, normally I would be using a brush to do the body. Because I like to keep, usually organic stuff, I use a brush and tech pen or a pen for straight lines. Okay. I think all I have left is this arm. His feet and legs here. I messed the hemon up on this thing. The hemon is this little part right here of the sword. I think that's what it's called, if I remember right. Oh, I did them purposely very long. Yeah. Close enough. Stop it right there. Stop this right there. And we can add this little. Oh, thank you. Is it H Thrun? Thank you for the subscription. Subscribing. I spin things around a lot, so that's not, you know, I know what it looks like on camera. I mean, on screen. Kind of whips around dizzyingly. Don't do that. This is I shouldn't be doing it with pen. I was going to do it with color. This is like the design on the shell. That whatever the shapes are of the back of the shell. We just kind of like rippled them. This is what I would call it. I met this little guy that's a professional inker at a con many years ago, a couple of decades ago. Little black guy. Don Hilsman, something like that. It's like a really short guy. And he was at it's like a Miami con. He lived in Miami at the time. I think he was inking like a piece for somebody. Like one of the other artists that was there at the con drew something for somebody, and they brought it over to that guy to ink it. And he was doing these long, but he was inking it with brush. He was doing these long lines. And I asked him, I said, how do you draw such straight, clean lines like that? And he said, first, you got to hold your breath. He says, because I'm small, the heartbeat will make his hand move a little bit while he's drawing. So like just a tiny little tremor. I mean, you don't even see it, but when you're holding the brush, you will see it. He says he holds his breath for a few seconds, releases, and then so that his hand won't get that little boom in the line. Yeah, pick things up as you go along when you're talking to people. Like this is the sketch. So if you look at this sketch, it's it's much more shades and whatnot in it, and the buildings are all wonky. But because I'm gonna do markers on this, I'm not adding any of the shades and all the line work. I'm just keeping it basic, no hatch marks. I'll do that. I might come in later and do it after I do the markers. Because even though the markers are Copic markers, and this is a Copic pen, They will sometimes, if you go over them too many times, they will bleed the marker line. So you're not really safe. So I tend to like to try to do things is like one stroke. That's it. No double back and so everything. Something else. See, like even this line is just a shade line. I'm not going to draw that in. And see the buildings, like I said, they're all, it was all freehand. So I don't mind drawing things with freehand as long as I know what I'm drawing. Like I have at least something to go by. Can't be afraid to just make wobbly lines. It doesn't matter. Right about there. I think. Did I do it right? I don't know if I didn't. I didn't. And yes, I make sound effects as I draw. So like if I drew it like that, I pick a shade side. So I messed up on here because the shade side is here. So the light is here. So that shouldn't be in shade. So the shade would be on the other side. So this way I can do it in shade though, because the way I see it is if I have more build inside on one side, that's where I'm going to put the shade, because over here I don't have a lot. There's like a little bit, like this building will have a little, there's a very slim one here, a little bit here. But all of this is just not in shade. Or I mean, you don't see that side of the building. So better to shade that side. And the way to do it is, you just pick a direction. This is a different building than this one, this one. So you just give them a different direction where the lines go. And like I said, they don't have to be perfectly straight lines. Can't obsess over that. It's like we said earlier in the other part of the stream. So, if you're gonna do circles, make it a circle. Use a template. Straight lines. But these are just, even though they're straight line buildings, they aren't, because they're made out of bricks and mortar and stucco and concrete, and so they have, you can have a little bit more fun with them. I used to do architectural renderings as a living. And what they are is just a sales tool for selling brand new houses, at least back then. I don't know what they do now. They probably use computer generated drawings. And so I used to draw all these houses and buildings and whatnot. And everything based on architectural plans. The fun stuff was doing like aerials, which is just like you're looking down at a really big area, like a golf course, and you got to draw the whole golf course. You know, all the holes, all the trees, everything around it. Let me show you an example. Put behind this. Really. It's pretty clean. Sorry for all the noise. And see, this would be like what it would look like. So this is a house. I think this is Florida. So this is the entire house. You know, obviously perspective, 2-point perspective, stylized trees and bushes and whatnot. But you draw everything. Yeah. The roof tile is Spanish tile. And then sometimes you get, you know, something like this, which is a little bit more elaborate. But since I was going to color this one, I just left all the detail out, no shadows, no nothing. Like this one had all the shadows, you know, all that stuff put in. Man, these are old. These are from the 90s. I drew hundreds of thousands of these over almost 30 years. So I kind of have a knack for at least rendering and detail. And those would be, you know, back in the day, we didn't have the ability to print things on like different papers. So we used to print them on this. It was like a blue line, black line print. And we watercolored that the best we could. Now we got the smart idea to do silk screening. That worked, but the lines weren't very fine. They would close up. It looked like blobs. At the time, our clients were everywhere. All right, that's good. See, I'm purposely doing that with the line so that it's not straight. It's like jaggedy. I'm trying to keep the scale in my head of how far away these things were and how much detail you would actually see in. Because that's a brick and that's a window. So from this point to this point, that should be 10 feet. So those are pretty big bricks. Not sure if that'd be right. I generally do not use blue lines for a lot of stuff. I like to use just go pencil. But like I said, this paper just doesn't want to let you erase properly. I'm sure anybody wants to watch me draw bricks. Watch anybody draw bricks. Trying to fade them out so I can draw them all. And here's my vanishing point right here. I just establish it, I say where it goes and that's where it is. So everything goes from here out. So in my mind, I'm drawing a line right to it. think that's a window. I don't remember. This is my guide. Gonna do a small lesson here in drawing windows. I think people don't, like when you draw, I see a lot of people drawing like they will draw a building, put a window in, but then it's just flat, you know. But you know, you gotta remember the wall is about 6 to 8 inches thick. So, you know, the window is actually inside the wall. It's not, for the most part, it's not on the surface of the wall. Because even glass windows, like a whole building is made out of glass, it's still inset. So, you know, you want to, what is this? 3. Is it a 3? 3. Window. Then you want to make your frames. Then, you know, depends on the kind of window, whether or not it's, you know, sliding windows or not. And then if it is, see this part would stick out just a little bit more than the one below it. So even though you would see the whole frame here for the top one, you wouldn't see it under here. It'd be hidden. So then that makes the window, the panes here would be over a little bit here. And the way I like to draw window panes is not to draw them. Just do one side. And then I didn't do it here, but I like to leave a little gap. So you leave like a little gap between each line, and it creates the window pane. And even though this is below, so you see in shadow below, you still do it here. And contrary to what people think, if it's glass, you can't put shadows on glass unless the glass has like a tint. So generally what you're seeing on a window is whatever's behind it. That's what the shadow's falling on. So if you have like curtains, you then would put the shadow on the curtain. And then you would, like, depending on how far back the curtain is how you want to, how deep the shadow is going to be. So you can put it way down there. And if the curtain is like wavy, you can actually curve it. So you can actually, like this. And then in between where the curtain is, usually there's something across from it that's being reflected into the glass. And that's what you would draw here. Like a bush, you know, a person could be walking by, you can reflect it in the glass. Like a tree, you know, you could put like a tree. And it would look, you know, like a real window. And then you would like put whatever, this is the shade, so this would be the shadow. The shadow would go across the pane, the frame of the window, top and bottom. And then sometimes, you know, you'll have, depends on what's at the, what do you have there? What do you call that? Sill. And then you would put a shadow under that as well. Maybe you have it on top as well. Shadow over here and under. Gives it a three-dimensional look. And there you have like a window. Come on. There you go. Sharpen it up. So that's the thing. And I always try to tell people, you know, when you're making windows on buildings or houses, you know, it gives it a nice, doesn't take a lot of time. And it gives it a nice, you know, realistic look. You don't know it's there. You don't realize what you're looking at sometimes. Maybe you do, but generally you just accept it because it's always been there. But that's what it should look like. Hey, Tornadoes, how you doing? See, when I draw, I stress speed. You know, I worked commercially for years, and it was about getting things done very quickly, but clean. It had to look good, but it don't have to be quick. Because, you know, the longer you take on something, the more money you're losing. I'm sure that's for anything in commercial arts. Okay, that's in front of this building. Okay. This building. Some reason that looks off. I don't know if I went too far one way. I think I know what I'm going to do. Nah, I don't think that'll work. I was going to say I was going to leave all of this, paint it all, and then ink everything in. But nah, it's not going to work. I highly recommend these Vanish. Very good. Really gets rid of the pencil lines without taking up the ink. I didn't notice, even after all these years of drawing and doing stuff, that there was specific erasers for specific types of whatever you're drawing or inking with. Like if you have India ink or markers, they have an eraser specifically to erase pencils, and but doesn't lift up your ink lines. I've only been alive for many decades, and I just found that out the other day. I didn't find out because somebody was talking about it. Just like, I wonder if. So I looked it up, and there it was. It's like, Jesus Christ, how did I not know this? Darn it, where's my brush? Now, before I do any color, I'm not going to do colors now, but before I do any colors, I have to know which color this guy is, because I know each turtle has their own shade. I think the lightest one is Raphael. I think, I'm not sure, but I think he's more of a grass green, chartreuse. Whereas I think one of the other ones is more of a bluish green, not turquoise, but just a darker with a little bit of purple in it. That makes it more. If you want to mix colors, don't add blue to green, just mix purple. That'll give you a cleaner green. It just won't look like blue with green in it, or green with blue in it. Painter stuff. Just like I like to tell guys all the time when they do like Photoshop coloring, don't use pewter, don't use beige in your coloring, especially on skin or anything like that. It looks terrible. It makes everything look muddy. See, the lead I use is, I just bought these. These are June Gold blue leads. I thought they would erase a lot better than this. They're not erasing at all. Which is gonna suck if that's not good. Might have screwed myself for color. I'm not sure the markers will cover these blues. So let's find out, shall we? I'm one of those people, I don't care. I'll just do it. And whatever happens, happens. Yeah, that's pretty much dead. Let's try this. Do I have blue in here? I'll just go with one of the pads. This one. It kind of covers it. Refill all my markers. Is it dark? Gotta be more careful. I might be able to get away with it. Let's see. Otherwise, I'll just render this thing. I'll just render everything out, so you wouldn't even be able to see that gray. I'll just add line work to everything. And at least now I know not to use this, at least not on this paper. It might be just this paper. I suspect it is because, like I said earlier, inking on this, I mean, trying to get things to erase on this is a pain in the butt. Okay. I think it'll be all right for color. We'll see. Like I said, don't know. All right. I'm gonna leave this alone for now. Hey, Gray Wolf, how you doing? Let me see something here with this paper. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to never use those. Oh well, that's $5 down the drain for these blue pencil leads. Okay, maybe I can use them as actual blue color. But yeah, that's not good for sketching. Just a little darker. And you like that beard, huh? Coming in nice. I got my winter beard. Draw something. I gotta go eat, so I'll spend a couple of minutes drawing something. Anybody got any idea? I always start with a head. Too big. I mean, everybody likes chest, stomach, crotch. I'm kidding. I've been watching Ethan draw so many cyber frogs. I just kind of like, I've learned a lot of how he designs his character. I drove him a little too squat a few times I've drawn him. Just a little too. The body was too squat and the legs were too short. No. When I draw. I sketch and I erase a lot, so I do it very, very quickly. I don't waste time too much, especially when I get dull pencils. The duller the better. Oh, this is something I started drawing, and I messed it all up because I was doing it with a camera in my face. Let me see if I can draw it. Way too big. That leg. could be using the toy. I got it right behind me somewhere. Oh, wow. Blurry. Concept's good, but didn't like it. Gotta go. Yeah, it was all right, but absolutely sure these are all wrong. Dedicate these shoulder hairs to a The heck are we watching? All right, I'm gonna take off. Before that, one of my favorite things to draw. All right, for whoever is watching, I'll thank you for watching, and I've got to go eat. I will be erasing this completely and reusing the paper because that's kind of like what I do. That's why I have good paper. I'm not sure this is a good paper. I think this might have been just the back end board for, yeah, it's the crappy paper that doesn't like to be erased. So it doesn't matter. I'll leave that as it is. And I'm going to finish up the buildings on that turtle and get that thing going. Thank you for stopping by. Catch you later. Where's that thing? How long? Almost 3 hours. It's too long.